Hey guys, it's Sarah, and I'm coming in for a super quick update while I'm driving down the road. I don't have a lot of time, so I gotta be fast. But I went back to the gastroenterologist today, and you guys know that follow me for very long. I've always had quite a bit of reflux. I daily don't have heartburn necessarily as long as I take my medication, although lately I've had some flare-ups. But I constantly feel this like GERD, heaviness, this pressure here, kind of like a weird feeling. It's almost between a pressure and an empty. I almost feel like if I breathe deep and cough hard enough, it would go away. It's really weird. I don't know how to explain it. I don't know if it's a gas. I don't know what it is. And sometimes, like when I belch, it actually feels better for a minute. But and as of recent, I've been having quite a bit of trouble at night. And I don't usually eat late at night. I usually take medications. I take a Zantac every night before I go to bed. If I do eat at night, I try to give myself several hours in between eating and laying down. Yeah. I have been trying to be really mindful. Keto does seem to aggravate my reflux, my GERD. But I've been trying to be very mindful, and I haven't really noticed or pinpointed anything specific that seems to be my issue. But I went back to the doctor today, and because it was my yearly appointment, and when I got there, I had both of my kids with me, so it was a little chaotic. But I had to cancel the appointment I had for the day before because I ended up working at Oz's school. So when I got there, the girl came in, and I say the same thing every single time I see her. This is like my fourth time to see her, and she always asks me how it's going, and I'm like, my actual heartburn is better, but this pain and pressure and fullness and discomfort that I have here is always the same. Like, it doesn't really seem, sometimes it'll feel better, sometimes it's worse, sometimes it's better, but I just have that a lot. And she never really offers anything. She just stares at me. And so, I've cried a few times on her and said, I'm just afraid that I'm going to have this esophageal cancer and all this stuff, okay? So today I went, and I initially was like, this is how, I said, I'm actually having a little trouble at night. And I gave her the play-by-play that I just gave you guys, that I haven't been able to pinpoint anything specific. And then I gave her an example. I was like, the other night I actually did it a little bit later. I ate something at like 8:30. I didn't lay down till 12:30 or 1. And then I didn't have... Oh, Kimmy's coming out, so I'm going to have to cut this off. I didn't have anything to eat after that. I took my heartburn medication, and then I... Hey, sister.
Tomorrow you think we're skating?
I don't know. Maybe. How are you?
Good.
I don't know where I got to in the thing. But something I said clicked. Oh, Bree's coming out. Something I said clicked, and she just started asking me a lot of questions. And she is up in my medication, and then she was like, you know what? Let's go ahead and do an EKG and an upper endoscopy. No, an endoscopy, not an EKG. And also an upper GI. So I'm having both of those done in sometime this month. And I was really just coming in to give you guys the scoop on that, to tell you what was going on and what was going down and what was happening and what I was having done. So I don't know. I'm a little anxious. I'm a little nervous about it. But the good news is if I have this done, I can probably also get the other stuff for my heart lined up. And I feel good about that. Sorry, people keep interrupting me. So basically, and I talked about it this morning. And so I hate that I have been there 4 separate occasions. And had these conversations with her, but for whatever reason, she listened today and asked me questions. I don't know if it's because I just walked in and was like, hey, I am having issues, specifically this, which led her to ask me other questions. She's never asked me those questions before. She asked me, did I feel like I was choking? I'm like, choking? Not really, but food does not go down. I'm like, it just stays here. And I said, immediately after VSG, it pretty much has done that. I'm like, but I thought that was normal. I did not know that wasn't normal. I'm like, but I've been a part of this community for a long time. I've made friends. I've done a lot of research. That's not normal. I didn't know that. Had I known that, I would have had a conversation with my bariatric surgeon, my bariatrics office, before I lost my insurance. I did cry today when I told her, I said, I've reached out to Vanderbilt when I first started having trouble 2 years ago. Because it's just so weird. I've been saying the same thing to them, her and the big doctor, all this time. 2 years ago when I first went, I was having this hot conversation with them. And it's like they just weren't listening. And then when they did all that stuff and they didn't really find anything major other than I had a hiatal hernia, a small hiatal hernia, and anyways, but when she was asking me questions today and I finally said, hey, this is not new. I've been feeling this way for 4 years. I've been feeling this way since I came, 2 years ago. Like, this stuff that I'm giving you today is not new information, or 3 years ago. And I said everything that I've understood, everything I've read leads to I need a revision. I'm like, but that's not an option for us at this point. My insurance doesn't cover bariatrics. I said I've thought about trying to go to self-pay somewhere just to get some answers, not for a revision. But, nobody has been willing to, Vanderbilt basically told me, I said, I've got the email where they just said, we can't see you, we can't talk to you if your insurance doesn't cover bariatrics. I was wanting to know how much a visit would be, how much just a regular office visit would be. I wanted to have that money so that I could at least talk to somebody and say, this is what's going on. Refused to see me. You guys know that. But I cried today when I told her that. I'm like, so that's what led me to you guys a couple years ago. I'm like, I'm kind of in this hard place of feeling like it's this, knowing what I probably need, and knowing it can't happen and needing some help. Otherwise, she talked to me about how that these feelings weren't normal, and that if the food is staying there, and the erosion, and esophageal whatever, and all stuff I already knew. All stuff, and talking to me that could lead to cancer, and I might have precancerous cells. I'm like, duh, I've been coming to you for 3 years, and this is exactly what I'm talking about. So even though it's frustrating, I feel like I am getting somewhere. Hopefully we're gonna move forward and maybe possibly get some answers. Of course, I sort of felt that way 2 years ago, and then I had that endoscopy and nothing really came of it other than being on medication, which has been beneficial. I do know that I thought at one point I was having a heart attack. I don't know. But hopefully we will get the ball rolling on this. I am going to see my OBGYN next Wednesday. And I told this lady today, I'm like, I have a lot of anxiety around this. I said, I'm constantly thinking I'm going to have this esophageal cancer. I said, I've got all these issues here, very uncomfortable feelings. I said, and then on top of all of that, I said, sometimes I feel like I'm going to have a heart attack. And so, I'm going to go next week and hopefully get the ball rolling on that end as far as, excuse me, get the ball rolling as far as having somebody hopefully get some anxiety medication or anxiety depression. I don't really know what it is. I do know that I had several moments over the last week or two where I really had talked myself into I was fixing to have a heart attack. And maybe I am. I don't know. Y'all have missed out. I haven't really shared a whole lot, but I've been having these moments of panic attack type deals. I start having a few chest pains. I've been feeling really weird here. I've been having some arm pain. I've been having some jaw pain. But you know what? These are the same feelings I had 3 years ago, which led me to getting on lots of medication for reflux. So I don't know. I don't know. I've been having hot flashes, and I've been having some bouts of nausea, and I finally was like, I'm either pregnant, premenopausal, or fixing to have a heart attack. So I don't know. I'm going to go to the doctor next week, and hopefully we can get the ball rolling on having the echocardiogram and EKG done as well. And I don't know. I feel better about being out the $5,000 if I'm having 4 procedures done and not just one. Does that make sense? So the good news about that is if anything else happens after having all those tests run, I should be covered. So, yep, that's where we are. That's where I'm at. That's what's going on. Just trying to keep you guys posted.